Hi, I'm Exactly Nerf, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a shell integration using only hot glue. Now you may ask, what's the benefit of hot glue? Or I can't say that, hot adhesive. Well, it's a lot of people just don't have Bondo lying around, or epoxy putty, or any of the real professional two-part epoxies that you would usually use. But they want to get into Nerf integrations, and I can't blame them. Nerf integrations are really cool, right? And hot glue is also free, or it's not free, but most people have it just lying around. Alright, well, let's get into the video. But first, you may have noticed a little change of scenery. This is because it's really smoky outside due to the Blitter Creek fires, and I don't like being outside. And I actually really like it in the basement. My neighbors can't hear me rant about Nerf guns and think, what a nerd. And it's not super hot, not super cold, perfect temperature, sound echoes, so it's less present that I don't have a mic. And, well, what do you think of it? So I plan to do an integration of a Fortnite SMG and an Apollo, and maybe some other parts. And I just think this is cool, and I have a Fortnite SMG, or the purple Strife as I like to call it, and an Apollo lying around, so I thought, what if we combine the two? Oh, and just a little disclaimer, I won't be doing any of the shell cutting or lining up or anything on camera, because this is a video about hot glue, and if I did do that on camera, well, the video would be hours long, and it's already going to be longer than most of my videos, and I don't want to bore my audiences. There, I've screwed the shell together nice and tightly, removed most of the mechanisms aside from the stuff that's soldered on from the Strife. I'm going to call it a Strife even though it's technically the Fortnite SMG. I've cut the shell and I've added the Strife. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add little bits of hot glue. These aren't going to be like the thing really holding it on. These are just going to keep it on while we put those on, if that makes sense. So just not exactly little bits like I said before, just a medium amount. We're going to cover this part up anyway, so it doesn't really matter if there's hot glue, it just has to be under the plastic, so we can put something over. And that's hot, and it hurts a lot right now. And I made sure to make this so I can still take the Strife apart. I can still split this in half. There's nothing gluing it together, so yeah, if I want to add better motors or something like that in the future, I definitely can do that. I always forget that hot glue is hot, contrary to popular belief. And now I just have to wait in this exact position for the glue to dry. There, now I've got all the screws out. I can still just lift it out. Now I'm going to get to the real structural part. So I'm just going to get myself some masking tape, like so. And I left this little gap in the shell so that I can put masking tape behind. It doesn't have to be masking tape, it just has to be some sort of tape that doesn't stick well, especially to rubber. And some of you might know what I'm about to do. And just so you know, this uses a lot of hot glue. So if you're planning on doing this and you just have like 3 sticks, that won't be enough. And now, a lot of you probably know what I'm going to do with all those hints. But since when was it really a surprise, right? And this mold doesn't have to be perfect, because it's going to be inside. There, I've got a very rough mold right there. And I'm just going to dump a bunch of hot glue in there so it forms like a solid hunk. That's one stick gone. Thankfully I have this huge bag. And you don't have to fill the mold all the way up, just enough so you feel confident with its strength. And I'm going to do that right now. And now I have that one done and waiting for it to dry, which, since it's a solid hunk, it takes a while to dry. And I'm just going to squirt some hot glue in the cracks. These don't have to be spectacular, just enough to hold it. This one's the one that's really going to hold it in, and the screws also, because there's a lot of tension on this inner strife. And there you have it, one side done, minus the magwell and the area where the flywheels rest. Now I've got to do this side. Alright, well, now that that's all dry, let's start taking it off. I made kind of a mistake, and it's best, I've noticed, when you take it off when the hot glue is still like kind of rubbery and not super solid, so it's not quite dry, but when it's not liquidy either. And I let mine dry completely, so it's going to be a little bit harder to take off. And there you have it. A lot of hot glue, probably wasted, because you may or may not outgrow this hobby in a few years. I mean, I won't, because I like it, but... And now I have to do the other side. So, now for the magwell, I did very little work off camera, but I did some. And I just did a few lines of hot glue here. So it's not super sturdy, but I'm going to cut this piece and cover it with this gold. So it doesn't need to be sturdy right now. This will help make it sturdy. There, I've got that done. And I've got the wheels attached. Another really good technique is if you don't have enough space for like a mold, like I did with this part, just add a ton of bulk. It won't be as sturdy, but you have to design it so that when you put the shell together, it all supports each other, because it's not nearly as strong as a good epoxy. And right now, since I'm going for kind of an MP7, I cut this part off, and I'm going to add a stock, similar with like molds and stuff. And I've cut out a grip. Just going to, this is from my knockout, which I may or may not have broken beyond repair. But There, I've yet again done a lot of work off camera. And it looks really nice in my opinion. But right now I'm cleaning it up. Like this hole here and all that. And since this is a hot glue only thing, I can't use any Bondo. So I'm using foam core. Like, I'll get it. Like this foam board. I'm just cutting it to shape and gluing it over the hole. And then I'll sand it down a little bit. Not the foam, the plastic afterwards. And yeah. There, the paint's drying now. And I've decided to go for a red, or an orange and black theme. So, here it is. It's done. My StryfePollo. I'm thinking of naming it something Roman or Greek, like Achilles, because those names always have a ring to them. And unfortunately, as you can tell, some of it was rushed. Because I have a time limit. I started this Monday night, and I need to get the video out by Tuesday. And I have school almost all day Tuesday, so this is kind of rushed. I'm thinking of going over and revisiting it sometime when I have time, and cleaning everything up real nice. I'm thinking of also, in October, maybe when I go to Ragnar Oktoberfest, running this for HVZ once it's all cleaned up, along with my trusty double strike. And on another note, I did this with hot glue also, that handle's from a Jupiter, and on the inside, the original handle is cut in half and shaved down as much as I can, and this handle goes over it. And it fires. Albeit not all that well, because I haven't worked out any of the kinks yet. The paint's still sticky, it's so new. Yeah. Well, I hope you liked it. Alright, here's what it looks like under the shell. So as you can tell, it's just a strife. It's in not a strife shell, or part of a strife shell. And make sure to like, subscribe, and maybe comment if you want.